All right, let's see. Make sure. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to You Can Talk. This is my Saturday Night Live. Let me make sure I can see myself here on the screen. This is a Saturday Night Live, and this month we have been focusing on couples and talking about how we overcome obstacles in marriage. And I've had couples that I've interviewed all this month, and this is another couple who has been so gracious in trusting me and allowing me to interview them and help me share with you all different things that they have done to overcome different obstacles and challenges that they faced in their marriage. And this is Just Vlogging Life. Carla, you see here on the screen, that's her channel. And she has now recently incorporated her husband, Eric, coming in pretty often. So the two of them, so is that something that's going to be like a, more permanent thing that the two of you all will be on, or will it just kind of still be more your baby and you'll have him on every once in a while?
Well, he's pretty much decided. First, thank you for having us. We really appreciate you for having us and your viewers. Thank you, guys. So, yeah, I'm Carla.
It's here.
And we're just vlogging life. So, yeah, pretty much it's been his decision because, again, it did start out as my own project to really get back into social media kind of thing. And I really respected that he wasn't really ready for all of that kind of thing. And so, but he is so super supportive. He's always been in the background, buying equipment, setting equipment up, just rooting me on, making sure that I have what I need to be successful. Just all kinds of things. So yes, to answer your question, he's getting more comfortable, and I'm proud of you for that.
Yeah, once I saw the lights.
Oh, he wants to be the director. He wants to take over.
Watch out now.
Really?
I saw the videos.
No. Now I got I'm
here. Yeah.
So, Carla, what led you to, get on social media and do YouTube?
You know what? I had to find a comfort level,
Oh, yeah.
She said,
Carla. Okay, sorry about that.
Okay.
Used to my,
Don't worry, Eric. I have plenty of questions for you.
So initially, I was off of social media after the loss. Well, during when my mother was in the dying process, she was in hospice and things of that nature. So I decided to step away because of the oversharing that people tend to do, or just saying things that are either inappropriate or just not for everyone to know or be in the know about. And it was very sensitive and tender to me and to my family, honestly. And so I was just like, first of all, I don't have time to nurse a social media platform, and less is better. So I stepped away from it, and I was in the process of like clearing out all of my social media, getting pictures, and just because in my mind I was like, it was Facebook, and I was like, I really don't like Facebook anyway, so let me just do away with it altogether. So that's for me. And I'll leave it at that because it's a story behind that too.
Okay. Okay, good deal. Hello, everyone. Welcome in. I just want to take a moment to address everyone. How are you all doing? This is Carla and Eric from Just Vlogging Life that we are interviewing today. I appreciate you all coming in. I see people popping in. Burns, how are you, sis? Welcome. Mr. Act Now or Never, how are you? Levi Boyd, how are you doing? Good to see you. Welcome in. Boss Lady Denise, how are you? Welcome, you guys. Tonight we are talking about overcoming obstacles. So this is always my favorite question to ask couples, because I just always think it's so fascinating, how people come together. But tell us a little bit how you all met.
So, okay, that's the continuation to the story.
Oh, okay.
So, good segue, sis. You are a great interviewer. So, well, as I'm cleaning up my social media, it's a double story to it. But anyway, he pops in and messages. No, he actually was asking to be a friend. Like, what is it? Be a friend on Facebook kind of a thing. I think that's what they do, friend. And friend so, right. And so then I was like, I don't know this guy. And then I did kind of look to scout and see like what his page was about. And I was like, I don't know anybody from Mississippi. This must be a fluke, you know, because he had his hometown as where he's from in Mississippi. And so I was like, you know, maybe this is a fluke. And then I looked at his page and I was just like, you know, so I left it at that. And I was like, you know, so, but anyway, someone was tugging on me and pushing. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to, it took me a few days because I'm doing this over the course of some days. So I was like, I'm going to message this guy and just ask him why is he asking for a friend request? Who is he? And how does he know me? Because the way that I had my platform set up, you had to know me. You had to be a family member nearly, because I didn't have outsiders really like on my page like that. Maybe a couple like childhood, elementary people that I was like, those kind of people I really wanted to get drop off of the platform. But so I messaged him, and then.
But I didn't know you though.
No, you didn't know me.
Yeah,
right,
I didn't know her. And,
I thought you might have known me from somebody. Like, so I kept saying,
well, saying hi,
are you sure you don't know me? And I was giving kind of the third degree. Like, because the way my name was spelled out, I was like, you have to know. Only people who know me through either old school, elementary, middle, only my family. And he wouldn't tell me. And
there was nothing to tell.
You didn't know her.
Yeah, there's nothing behind it. I didn't know you.
Yeah.
How do you know me? Who do you know me from? So anyway, long story short, it ended up being where we had a mutual friend. So once I realized the mutual friend was one of my cousins, I was like, well, do you know my cousin? And he didn't know my cousin.
No,
and so I guess, you know, with Facebook, what I had learned then, and I only had it at that point, probably about 4 years at that point, but I was infrequent on the platform, but I did know that a part of it was just how they web you and link you together. So
I just got on there. I didn't know
anybody.
I just got on Facebook.
That was another thing. I was like, he could
just
be
established.
any old body. It was not a lot of pictures. It was just a profile pic, where he was from. I did see like some now that I know who they are, it was like your aunt and some cousins from home that were just like talking to him
from my town, right?
So it didn't seem suspicious or anything negative. It was just not a lot on his platform. But in my mind, I was like, I don't know anybody from Mississippi.
But that was how I communicated with my family at that point. You know, you know, sometimes people didn't talk anymore. You know, phone. It was just. It was through social media. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm like, wow. You know, so.
But we continued this like messaging thing. So I ended up not fully shutting my page down because my mother, she had been in hospice twice. And then the first time she got sent home. And then so I was just at the end of my master's program. And so it was just a lot going on. You know, I was a single mom. And my youngest son was having like a few behavior problems. So it was just a lot really going on that I was just like, I don't have time for it. But I didn't fully shut it down because it was just over time. So it was this messaging back and forth, but it would be so much time in between that we talked until he would like make reference like, oh, so you're back or whatever, just to badger me and harass me about where I know you from. And I don't know you, lady.
You forgot about a brother was happy. Yeah. What?
And then, but you did have on like that Detroit. What was that? That Detroit jacket.
It was a Detroit Tigers jacket.
Yeah, and it was like around here, these parts, certain clothes and attire is like. I was like, he is not my swag. Like, because I would not talk to somebody wearing it. Like,
I'm not from Detroit.
He looked like a street guy, like straight street guy, and I was like, I'm not into hustlers if that's what he.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
But then, so long story short, over time, we ended up doing the back and forth thing. And I finally like gave him a chance, and I couldn't dedicate to that. I ended up shutting the profile down after he told me, he was like, look, you keep asking me these questions.
I'm not dealing with all this. Look at all this back and forth texting. I'm a grown man. Look here. You call me, you talk to me. Let's hey. I want to hear your voice. You talk to me.
Right.
I can talk to you. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Hear my voice, and let's go from there.
Yeah, that's what pretty much happened. So he left his number, And then when I talked to him, that was it. Like, it's almost like we've been together ever since, and inseparable. And I don't even think we ever got back on that, because then I was able to shut my Facebook going down. But so yeah, I guess look at God working.
That's how we met, you know.
Yeah, that's pretty much how we met. And as we moved, I shut the page down and we moved into more of a getting serious. So I wanted my mother to meet him, and she was in hospice. And at that point, I still was kind of like taking it for granted because she had went home before. So, but I was like, the Lord was, now I shouldn't say something. The Lord and the Holy Spirit was tugging on me, like, you know, take him to meet your mother. Take him to meet your mother. So, right when I went to visit my mom, I was braiding her hair and doing her hair, and I told her that I met somebody. And
that day I told her, I was like, how you doing? Nice to meet you.
Yeah, but that was, let me finish telling this part. This is real good. So then I said, you know, I said, Mom.
Oh, when you went by yourself,
Yeah, I said, I met somebody. And right before that, she had really had this major like pain, like she was in pain. And I'm braiding her hair. I'm like, am I hurting? And she's like, no, just go ahead. So then next thing you know, after I said that, she perked up like, wait a minute, spill the tea. Like, what? And so I was like, yeah, you know. And so
good gossip, right? That
good stuff. Oh, yes. Mama knows. Mama knows.
Okay, so I told her, and then I told her, you know, about him, and that, you know, he was from the South, and just what I knew about him at that point. And she was like, men from the South, they, you know, the characteristics of men from the South. And honestly, everything that we shared in that conversation is how my husband is to this day. To a T.
Really?
And she at that point, she hadn't even met him yet, still.
Really?
And
wow.
So she described him, his character, and she was just in general. But I believe now that was the Holy Spirit letting me know that he was, you know, the one for me. Yeah. For real. Like, so then, but like I said, I took him to meet her in hospice, and she passed away like 4 days later. But when he saw her, she was talking like how we're talking now. With
it was
meant to be.
I was amazed, like, you know, because we had just talked. You know, we got a chance to, you know, I gave her a hug, and I got a chance to like touch her, you know, and she was okay, and we were like, you know, just talking. Yeah. You know, and I told her, you know, she introduced us, and I came in the room, and I bought her some flowers, and
oh wow.
Yeah, I bought her some flowers, and because they gave a moment, they had a moment. So she said, I'm gonna go in, just, you know, get her to make sure everything's, you know, together or whatever, you know. So I go down to the gift shop, and I bought her some flowers, and I wanted to, you know, just with a little memento, you know. Yeah, you know, and came in, and we just talked, and it was real natural.
Yeah, it was like they always knew each other. It was very natural, you know. It wasn't like any, you know, like, oh, I'm going to be her parents, I'm very nervous. It was just very comfortable, you know. So yeah,
and I told
but
my
I'm sure
wife
that gave you.
Go ahead.
I'm sure that gave you a lot of peace knowing that your mother was able to meet him, you know, before she passed. Definitely. How did that passing affect those kind of beginning stages of your relationship? Like, was that, did you have to give her time to adjust, or, you know, did it affect how you treated her in any way, or did you want to pull back or slow down? I'm sorry?
No, you know, I kind of just, I took it for what it was, and I recognized it, and I was just there. You know, I was just there, you know, during the tears, the crying, the emotional times. I was just being a shoulder and just listened, you know, because I had told her mother, you know, before her mother passed, those 4 days, I had told her mother, I was like, you know, I told her, I love your daughter, and I'm going to marry her. That's my wife. I told her. Yeah, 4 days before she passed, I told her that, you know. And,
wow.
Yeah,
that is awesome. And she responded well, positively.
Yeah, she was like, okay, I see you. All right.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And my mother was in the ministry, so she is very like attuned to the Holy Spirit and spirit of discernment. My aunt told me later that she called her and was like, that's her husband. you know, and referred to him, you know, like this, that's my son-in-law and things of that nature. And what's ironic is that, and you know it, but you've never seen them. But when the morning that my mother passed away, we took, you know, pictures with her or whatever, me and my two brothers. And one of the roses that roses that he brought her, we laid it on her Bible, and they had her Bible on her. And to this day, it's like he was there, because that flower represented my husband, even though it was just me and my brothers, you know, and that represented, because my brothers aren't married. So that represented like her children to me.
Yes, yes. Oh, that's beautiful.
I didn't even realize that until later when I saw the flowers. I mean, saw the pictures. I was like, wow. I was like, you know, you were there.
That's
you know,
picture, right?
he was at work that day. Yeah, but yeah.
Now you all haven't been married for too many years. How many years has it been?
It'll be 4 years, May the 22nd.
4 years. Okay.
Yeah, 4 years. Three and some change or whatever, going on 4. But we've been together for total 7 years. We dated a year.
Okay.
We were engaged like 2 years, and then we've been married like 3.5. It'll be 4 years. So
4 years in May.
Yeah. So about going on 7 years or so. Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about that transition from being grown, independent, having your own lives and, you know, families and different things such as that, and having to come together, starting something new when you're already sort of like, you know, up in age and, you know who you are, you're established. Talk to us about what that transition was like for you all.
For me, that transition was it was more solid, knowing when I met my wife. When I met my wife, I knew exactly that she was the woman for me. So it was a more of knowing as a man what you're looking for, what you want, and what you seek in a wife. And once I found my rib, I knew, you know, she was it was it for me, you know. And because the first time I met my wife in person, you know, we had lunch. It was just a lunch date, and
I bought him lunch too, by the way.
Yeah, she bought me lunch, and
For one, I wanted to make sure he wasn't out there in them streets, and he was like, "Well, I'm working right now," and I was like, "Well, do you have some lunch? Because I can bring you lunch." Yeah. And then, like, we can meet for lunch. And so when we met for lunch, I was able to, you know, verify that he was working. He had on his work gear, and you know, so I was like, okay, he legit. He's not in the streets, because that profile picture had threw me off at that point.
Yeah, you know, clean up a little different. You know what I'm saying, brother? I'm still here. I'm focused. You know what I'm saying? God first. I'm driven.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It was about seeing you in there working. Right. Too. I was like, I want to see you like dressed for work. So
yeah.
That transition, you know, once you know, like you said, when you spoke of getting older, once you get older, you kind of know, you know.
But you know, you're a little more set in your ways, and you're kind of set in who you are. And sometimes it can be we're a little less bendable, should I say? Sometimes it can be difficult to get used to somebody else being in your space. And so you have to make adjustments, and you know,
you do have to make adjustments. You really do. But I think for me, being that I was single so long, like I've been married before, but like if you blink, you missed it. It was like that. So, but for the most part, raising my boy, you know, it was raising my sons. It was just like a long span of being single and in my singlehood, you know. So that let me know that I just didn't have time for the games, you know. So that adjustment period, I know for me, was fairly like an easy transition. It wasn't as like any, you know, bumping heads and rough. Like we both kind of knew what we wanted.
Like, no, I got this, or no, you just stay over there and do that, or take care of that, and I'll just take care of this.
Right? No, we didn't go through that. It pretty much was together, and even then, we used to talk for hours, getting to know each other. I talked about like when I met him, like because I'm a clinician by profession. And so I had like 100 questionnaire premarital questions, right? 100, okay? Like 100. Okay, we gonna get. I'm gonna find out. Are you crazy? You know, do you have medicine? Have you ever been locked up? Have you ever been locked up in a mental institution?
That was something different for me. Like, I'm like, okay,
And then
Were you taken back? Were you taken back by that, Eric?
yeah, because I'm like, why you ask me? Was I in a mental institution? Mental institution? Were you in a mental institution? Did I know you? Did I know you from the mental institution?
Yes, yes, yes.
We asked them questions, some hard questions. And so as I was asking him questions, he would ask me questions, and it would be a back and forth. We had fun, learning each other, laughing about some things.
Actually, I just took the fourth question that she asked me and threw it back on her. Just waited a second. So, have you ever been stalked, or have you ever been on? Have you been stalked? Right? Have you been a stalker? You know.
These days,
Well, you know, I think when you've been in a hello.
Yeah, I said these days you have to ask those questions.
Yeah, well, and you know the thing too, like you said, you had been married before, and anytime you've been in a relationship for any length of time, you learn some things. You know, you learn some things to look out better. If you're wise, you take some lessons learned and you apply it to the next. You know.
Right. Well, one thing I can say about my husband early on was that he was very honest, and I appreciated his honesty because he had been in a relationship. He was married, and he was in a marriage that already had a long part of them being together before they got married. And so I was like, are you sure, you know, you want to, you know, ever be married again? A lot of people usually don't, but he was like really open. And you know, even when I met his mom, his family, like they welcomed me. I was like, because I didn't believe that a man could probably even be ready, you know, again. But he was ready. He was genuine.
I had been single for like 3 years, and you know, and I kind of, you know, I lived a life, and I kind of knew, you know, as a man, you know, when I found my soulmate, you know, I'm like, yeah, it's over. This is me right here.
I think some people know, like, I think marriage is sort of like a calling, you know, it's something you're either called to or something that you're not. And when it's something you're called to, I kind of think you have a hard time being single and being comfortable in that space. You know, it's like you can welcome and you can enjoy it and have a good time, you know, during it. But at the same time, you always kind of feel like, you know, I need to be with someone, I need to be married. And not everyone feels that way. You know, not everyone feels that way.
But I didn't need to be with someone. I needed to be with Carla. So spiritually, she feeds me spiritually, emotionally, and financially, lovingly. It was here. Yeah, we and I prayed for it, and I thank God for that. I prayed for my wife. You know, yeah, you showed up. Like,
yeah,
God to give me some insight and show me if this was meant to be. You know, it's a woman out there for me.
So well, until sometimes I used to, I don't know if I was doing a little bit of sabotaging at a point, but I would be like, well, are you sure, you know, you want to be with me? Because I was still trying to make sure it wasn't any kind of, but he was so open. It wasn't anything that he was trying to hide. It was just me saying, like, are you sure that you're ready? Because if you're not ready, I don't want to. And if you ever feel like you're not, just let me know. And he would be like, I can't live without my heart. You're my heart.
You're my heart. I can't live
without
I can't live without my heart.
Can't live without your heart.
That's right. You're my heart.
Sorry.
You know, no matter how long you know each other prior to marriage, no matter how much we try to prepare for that perfect mate and making sure that we, you know, get along, that we vibe, that we connect, that we have the same, you know, visions and goals and things like that. There are always the unimaginables that you wouldn't imagine would pop up in a marriage, just obstacles that you never thought that you would have to, you know, deal with or expect. Was there anything like that for you all?
I would say, well, to be honest, being a blended family, that, you know, and we have children. So that in and of itself is still a working, because again, we're still, you know, considered newlyweds, I guess, at 3 and 4 years. So it's still a working process and it's ongoing and ever evolving. So that But you know, even on a lighthearted level, because I love my mother-in-law. I love her. That's my honey. Let me tell you something. But them 7 a.m. calls on a Saturday morning has to stop. Okay.
Yes, and
if you don't tell mama, I'm gonna have to tell her now.
Yeah, those are definitely things that can be challenges, just different lifestyles, things that each of you all are accustomed to. You know, my husband and I sort of experienced the same thing. He's not a morning person, so he wasn't used to getting phone calls, the phone ringing early in the morning. And me and my family, my friends, we're pretty much all early risers. And so I do have friends that I talk to at, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. You know, my mom would have called me, or, a family member would have called me at a wee hour in the morning, and he's waking up like, who on earth is calling you at this hour? Did somebody die? Like, or really late at night, because we get up early. We're early risers and stuff. Yeah. So we had to learn.
And then another on that late end, it would be like if it was one of his 2 homeboys. Lord have mercy, these homeboys. And because he told me he only had like 2 true friends, but come to find out, he knows a lot of people that he considers to be friends. So the running joke is he one of the 2 friends? Is he one of the 2? But it's pretty much the 2.
I didn't know I was friends with that many people. I didn't know
so you're more of an extrovert. Are you more the extrovert and the?
Well, we both kind of introverts,
The social butterfly.
He told me that was how he got it. He told me he was like, an introvert, because I was like, I'm a homebody. Are you? Oh, I'm a homebody too. He really is not. He knows a lot of people. He's very community driven, softball, like. He's organizing stuff, and I'm like, you are not an introvert. I am. I could be at home here, something like the pandemic been like an introvert's lifestyle. Okay, I can go from being here in my home office studio workout room and go in the living room and feel like I'm in another world and do other things, and I'm okay with it. But
I could do that. I could do
no.
that. I could. Like,
no. But when he'll take one for the team and stay home with me and do that, and then I will go and do sparsely the things that he want to do just out of compromise. But I guess the friends, that was an obstacle too, because I felt like
But I had to tell them, like, look here, hey, wait a minute, I'm a married man. Wait a minute. I'm calling after like 11 o'clock to my going to the bar. What?
Yeah. I mean, and that can be a huge adjustment for marriage. Like when you have friends that you used to hang out with late at night to the wee hours of the morning, or friends that just want to hang out at your house late, to the wee hours of the morning, and you have to make a dent. It's like, wait a minute, when is this getting kind of late? How long they gonna be here?
But see, I didn't know I had to address that, because as a grown man, I would see that if my friend is taking a wife, I would see, certain things we're not gonna be able to do no more. Like, you don't have to tell me that. Yeah. Okay, that's my homie. All right, he married now. Let that man be.
I don't have to tell my friends that, and I'm not like a phone person. If I talk to my friends a group of my friends, I heard from them like 2 weeks ago. I hadn't talked to them in probably a good year. But when we do, we talk and we make up the difference, and it's like we never stop talking. And then my close friend that we're like sisters, I may talk to her every like 3-4 months, and we're good because we kind of have the same personality, so we respect that about each other.
Guys, you got to tell them that. Yeah, you got to like set the boundaries. Like, look here, hey, wait a minute now.
Now, do y'all have single friends and married friends, or is everyone you all hang out with pretty much married?
Well, we hang out a lot with our married couple, family couple, I guess.
Family couple members,
Yeah, we have a lot of married couples in our family.
Yes.
So we do a lot of couples, things like that. But for the most part, I guess, if you will, my friends are pretty much all single. And
my friends are single too. They want to be married though. Wife, daddy, your sisters, anybody, cousins. What about a distant relative?
Yes. I understand.
Your wife got anybody that I could just hold on to it. No. No.
I hear you.
But see, my wife, she look at my friends like, nah, none of my friends, nah, he on it, no, he got ashy feet, no, he not doing it.
Not all of them, Eric. All of them.
Oh,
All of them.
All of them.
None of
My husband is the best one.
none of our homies use lotion. We don't use lotion. They don't use baby oil. They never heard of shea butter. They never heard of this.
Right.
They just don't, ashy feet running the crew,
Yours.
Oh yeah, I'll play that. Moisturize,
Carla's like, no, they
shea butter, definitely.
Carla's like, no, they single for a reason.
Right, they are.
I didn't know that though. I didn't know that.
You accept them how they are, which is cool, but
I didn't
nobody
know.
else will.
Right. My wife gave me the knowledge, like, look here, that's why he ain't got a woman.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm telling you, don't come through here with flip flops. No. So yeah, seriously, and he knows it because I tell him like, you really love your friends. You are the best one in the bunch.
But I didn't know that. It's like my friends.
I won't say all your friends. They genuinely love and care about you. So it's not like I will come in and be like, you need to just totally cut all.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Yeah, but they're not dating my cousins or my friends, and I have a lot of cousins.
Yeah, they ask.
So that's an established boundary in the house.
Yes. No coming over our house. Don't knock on our door. Those are those boundaries that you have to establish. So
yeah, you're so right. Was it a challenge for you all to set some boundaries in your marriage? I know sometimes it can feel it can be challenging sometimes to have to set some boundaries, like, hey, to bring up those conversations, like, hey, I'm kind of uncomfortable with this, or this is not quite how I expected this to go, or this is what I'm used to. And, how did y'all have to have some of those conversations?
Yeah, definitely. Because again, and it might seem like it's lighthearted, but the softball thing, because he's very into that softball, and that was something he was doing before me, and that's one of his outlets. So cool. I don't have a problem with it. But I do, because when you go, that's my me time. Cool, fine. Because I like to have, on top of being an introvert, I like to have my me time.
Absolutely.
So, but it was like, oh, well, we have 3 games today. So if you leave at 10 o'clock in the morning, then don't think that I'm going to be okay with you coming in here after dark. 3 games all day, like they can't reconfigure
What time in the morning?
10, 11.
Okay,
yeah. And then he would order. Then after they play the game every Sunday, then they barbecue or grill or whatever. My husband doesn't even eat meat, and then they rely on him. Where you got some buns? Where's the hot sauce? And I'm like, if you're providing everything, the cold, the grill, the bread, the fish, if you're frying it, whatever, then they could at least bring the condiments. Come on, So again, no, they can't date anyone I know.
But that's also, I use that as a springboard in the community. So I give away backpack to children, what my wife helps me on. So I try to set up a voter registration booth and give away prizes. We try to give back in the community. I kind of use it as a springboard, to give back also. So it's not just.
But it still had to be an established boundary, because then it also was impeding, because the games are usually on Sundays. So when church before, C19, this is impeding on going to church. Yes, we will be in church. We try to figure out what time. I don't know. Listen, you can go serve the Lord. That game can wait.
See, what had happened was I had just looked to the left and I looked to the right, and Pastor was saying, "We almost done. I love y'all," and we going from there. And, I wasn't looking at my watch.
Like, yo, you should have just drove. No, we're going together to church as a couple, and they can wait. It can wait. So I have had to foot down,
that. Can wait, yeah.
Because even now, last summer I did a video on him. I told the viewers I pretty much retired him from softball. Now, what that means is that he still goes. He's still you almost like a team owner, right?
Yeah, I own everything.
So look, you and somebody else, but at the end of the day, like sliding in the home plate. One time he came home with a burn mark on his leg like this. Why are we sliding? You not 17? Why are we sliding?
Eric, please, let me give you the floor.
I was caught up in the game. It was emotional. I was having fun.
I love that you all brought that up.
Yeah.
I found that it's very important for couples to each have their own thing that they're still into, that's kind of just there, separate from the marriage. How important has that been to you all? I know some couples feel like, no, we have to do everything together, or we're not doing anything together, and you're not doing anything by yourself. You know, some couples feel that way. But how has that played out in your marriage? Have you all found that it is beneficial for each of you all to have that thing, to have that personal time, to allot that for each other? And how has that benefited your marriage?
I don't know if I set out to do it, but it kind of happened that way. But whatever I'm involved in, my wife is 100% invited. I want her to come out. I know sometimes she can't, but it's an open invitation to
Always, yeah.
Always, if I'm there, she's invited. It's automatic. I love you, and if you can bless us with your presence, we'd be great.
Work it, Eric. Work it.
If you can bless us.
Now here's the thing.
Presence.
But this is why I don't go as often. I don't go as much or as often is because there's no restroom. I'm not about that porta potty life at all.
Yes.
And so I don't go as much. But when I go, I'm limited to water. I am there to support, watch a game, and I'm out. And maybe I might schedule it where I can go and be there for like the cooking or whatever. But because it's his thing, and it's a lot of guys, like, I just don't want to be around all the profanity. It's kind of over there in the hood, in the gutter part. I don't really want to be over there. So, and guys are doing guy things. And so I feel like it's important for him to have that. So it has to be that boundary, or else, we have to talk about taking it away.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
You don't want that.
Yeah, my husband and he's very into sports. He referees, and we had to figure out, okay, how much refereeing is going to be happening, because sports happens every day, 365. It's a sport going on.
Right.
So sometimes we have to figure out, okay, what's going to be that healthy balance for you to be able to continue to do and participate in the things that you love, and yet still be a part of this marriage and this family. So
and then I think you're going to be like, okay, what time you come home? What time you been there already? Sun, you left, sun up, you come back. What time are you coming home? I'm not going to do that. And honestly too, that is one of the reasons why I did start a YouTube channel too. On top of just needing to have my own outlet, like, being a clinician, my role is to listen. So this was my way of being able to talk. And I found myself doing a lot of car vlogging before, pre-seed life. So it pretty much was an outlet for me, but it is fundamental to have your own outlet, or you will have those headbutt moments. And honestly, we only really butt head about the timing of it. How long it lasts.
How much time, because when you're doing things that you enjoy, you get caught up in it and you want to do it forever. You can do it all day. Time passes, you don't even realize it. And then you have to remember, I'm supposed, we usually are doing this at this time, or this is going on at the house. I need to make sure I'm here participating. Whatever, you want to be there. Right. So it can be hard to pull yourself away. Eric, how did her getting on social media, and what social media is. We're exposing our lives. How did that impact anything for you about you all's marriage? Was there anything you were worried about, or, did it change anything for you seeing your wife on social media?
It changed. I grew admiration for her. It changed in that way. I grew to admire her. Like, wow, that's something that I admire her for doing. And because I know, what I'm saying, where she come from. And sharing my, my wife is. She's almost like a world right here, and I've given the world, a whole nother world to the world, my wife, her intellect, her smartness, everything about her, so it's a blessing for her to be able to be on social media and this platform. That's how I took it. That's how I felt about it. And I supported her 100%, and I'm with her 100%. And whatever she needs, I'm there for her, and I always will be. And we're gonna push through. I don't care what it is. We're gonna get through it. We're gonna do it together, and I'll be here for mine.
So was there anything that you underestimated or about her or were surprised about in her doing this?
No, because I keep I had her on such a high pedestal, so it was nothing under there. It's pedestal. We pedestals around here. She left it. Pedestal. She left it. It's nothing. I couldn't underestimate my wife because
Carla, do you feel that from him? Did you feel that he always has you on a pedestal? Is that something that you feel?
Yeah, honestly, I do, and very supported by my husband. And in the moments, even when I go into myself and feel like I can't do this, he's there to support me and, and let me either talk it out, or he is there to encourage me to continue to do it, because he knows that I will get in my own way, because a lot of my reasons for starting it was because I had been off of any kind of platform for so long. And once I processed it, I realized that my disassociation had a lot to do with the death of my mother. And so I just didn't want to disassociate. I needed to kind of be in the know about cultural things and, some things. It was a video that I shared with my cousin. I promise you, she was like, "Oh yeah, I saw that last year." And I was like that meant a lot to me. Like, I'm that far, because I thought it was very funny, and I was cracking up like it had just happened. She was like, "Oh, that video was old." And so that let me know that it was like a gap in there in my life. A little something was missing. But my husband's always been like supportive, even when I go to him and be like, because there have been times early on when I had like maybe 25 videos up or some 20 to 20. And I went one night, I private everything out, and then I had to like go through the feeling like I was inadequate, like I don't think I should do this. And he's there to encourage me and don't private your videos out, just keep going. Even though he didn't want to really be on there at that time, he still encouraged me and kind of helped push me through, because he knew that it was a confidence thing for me. So yeah.
So let me ask you this. There are a lot of times, especially newly marriages, and I say newly, to me, newly is like under 5 years, we go in our marriages and we're so in love, with the people that we've chosen, that we do put them on a pedestal. My husband, puts me on a pedestal. I put him on we have such high hopes and expectations. Do you all feel like that puts pressure on either of you to be more than what you may be capable of? Does it make you nervous at all sometimes when you feel like there's this pressure on you to live up to how they see you?
For me, I can only be myself and portray who I authentically am. So really what you see is like real, like what I am, and I think honestly, one of my cousins called me recently and she was like, "Wow, if people only knew like to put yourself out there, like we know this about you, but you don't do this for others." So for me, it's just me being my genuine, authentic self. If I say I have a blanket that I've been working on for 20 years, Positive knows this. I literally have been working on crocheting that blanket for 20 years, probably because I don't know how to end it, So, but I try to be my authentic self, and it's not hard to really live up to something that's who you are, fundamentally. And that's something that I pray for, is for the Lord to allow me to be myself and allow my light, this little small light of mine, to shine and show him the glory of him, who I am and who we are in a covenant, because we refer to our marriage more as a covenant than a marriage, so yeah.
Eric, do you feel the same way? Have you ever felt any pressure to, live up to being that perfect man that she desires you to be?
Nah, it's put it like this: it's petals with perspective. So you look
okay,
it's petals with perspective. forgive.
That's good. That's
You
good.
know,
I like that.
that's just what it is. You know, that's me.
Right. So you
So
give each
with that
other
being
room
said,
for,
yeah, you know, keep it in perspective no matter what. Yeah, we lift it up and umbrellas, but yeah, it's perspective and be humble and put an understanding. You know, because if I am the way I am from day one, if I always open up your door, if I always bring you flowers, if I always take out a trash, if I always take those interviews, that's gonna be me.
And hold my hand in the fire.
If I always hold your hand, if I always kiss them tears when you cry, I'm gonna keep doing it, you know, and that's gonna be me. Consistency, and let's go from there. And
yeah, because I mean, a lot of couples struggle with that. They get that in the dating phase of their relationship, holding hands, the car opening, the pumping the gas, and cutting the grass, whatever it is they're doing, and you're fixing dinner and giving back rubs and all these things. But then when you get married, those things tend to fall off, and so that can be a challenge.
But we feel like my husband told me we'll always date. So I'm
always date my wife.
Yeah,
always.
That's something he always says. And like he holds himself to that, and we have fun. I don't think that it's like hard for him, but it is more about like, wow, he followed through. He'll follow through. So yeah.
At some point, you can't pretend, or it's just be yourself.
Yeah.
Be yourself from day one. You don't have to be anybody else.
Some of the best advice I got, some of the best advice I got, and in fact, I think I got it from one of my cousins who I saw here earlier in the chat. It was start out how you want to continue to be. Don't start out doing anything that you can't continue doing throughout the entire time that you're dating or that you're married. And I thought that has been really just some of the best advice. So the things that I wanted us to have established in our marriage, I did up front. If we're going to pray, if we're going to go to church, if we're going to, eat together, if we're going to, do different things for each other, we tried to establish those things up front, in the marriage so that it would continue. And
and sometimes with work and everyday life, but you get back to going to church, as you said, to having done it again. You just get back to it.
Yeah, don't get too far away.
Don't get too far from that.
It's almost like
always come back.
Yeah, and it's almost like not letting the sun go down on your wrath kind of a thing.
Exactly.
No matter what, like even if we have a disagreement or something like that, we always still say we love each other. And then we'll deal with the rest tomorrow, especially if it's late or something.
I was just about to ask you, are you all one of those couples that will talk till the wee hours of the morning until everyone is satisfied and then you go to bed, or will you make peace and sort of put things off?
Yeah, we've done both. It varies. Like that's real life.
Yeah.
It varies, but
look here, about 11:30, I go. You right. I'm sleepy. You right. I'm wrong. Right?
Whatever it is, you right.
Baby, I love you, and I need to change my whole thinking. You right.
And then you right. He raised it back up because he really wasn't satisfied. He's just trying to. So.
You're right. I'm gonna go. You're right. I don't know what I was thinking. What was I thinking? You know what I'm saying? You are a great thinker. What was I thinking? I need to get myself together. I need to look in the mirror and say, Eric, there's certain things you need to change. Your wife is right. I'm about to go to sleep.
Whatever. Oh my God. No, it is not like that. You bring that back
tired.
up.
I ain't go to work anymore. I ain't go to work. I gotta go to work.
But I do want to go back to one thing, Ruth, when you talked about like creating and establishing like boundaries or whatever. Like for me too, I will say that I had to keep my mindset on remembering to relinquish head of the household kind of things to my husband, because that singlehoodness stuff can like trip you up and make you think that you're supposed to think about the bills and think about how things are going to get done. I got to do this. I got to do that. Brain always running and ruminating. But honestly, I was thinking about something one day on my way home about how this was going to happen and that, and the Lord stopped me. And clear as day, I could hear him say, stop. What are you doing? What are you
Yeah.
doing? You have, first of all, you have me and you have your husband, and we're responsible for you. And he showed me like it was like a glimpse of how like that was what you used to have to do when you were single. You no longer have to do those things or think that way. I came home and opened up that door and was like, God said, you and you and him, y'all are responsible for me. I don't have to do nothing anymore. None. And he looked at me and he was like, okay, like I already knew that. You didn't know it.
Yes. He's
I
like,
got
I was
this.
waiting
God
for you.
said you are responsible for me.
Were you waiting on her, Eric?
Say it again, sister.
Whatever. So, and I had to really like understand that like it's no longer that singleness and what my husband is my headship. He's the household. Like you have a covering. You can't just be around here thinking about how things are going to get done when no matter what he's the ultimate say so. He's the ultimate way maker, provider, get it done, man, thought processor. Like we come together, but at the end of the day, fundamentally, he is the one who, that way maker, and so.
Look here, I got this. You start your YouTube channel. I got this.
Yeah, or just remembering
do your thing. I got you.
Okay, I would get in the car and I don't have to fill up the car with gas. Like that's when you single and you gotta go to the gas station.
Yeah.
I had to remember that. But now I get in the car, it's gas. Or when did you look and see if the numbers, if it's time for oil change? I don't know. I don't even look at it.
I don't even ask anymore. I got this.
Right. Yeah. I don't go and get the tabs for my car. He does all of these kind of things. And so, but these were the things that I used to have to be responsible for, putting gas in my car, getting my own tabs and just doing my own.
And tabs is renewing plates here in Michigan. I don't know if everybody else got that.
Oh, right.
It's renewing
we have to
license
renew
plate
our license plate every year. I forgot about that. Thank you. So, just remembering to relinquish that. And he's really, my husband is easygoing guy. So he would see all of me shooting moves, but one thing I'm about is yielding to him. But I'll be like, well, I was thinking about this. And he's like, I know, but I got this. I got this. I don't even know why you were thinking that hard into it or processing or planning it out. I got this, but I don't know. And see, I don't know. Has that ever bothered you that I was like that, baby?
No, I got this.
I'm saying like when I would forget that I don't have to think and act and be like a single.
No, I just had to get you in the mind frame to where you understood. This is my husband. He takes care of that. So once you got into that mind frame, it was okay.
Yeah, I would have to remember and recall that, like, But honestly, after God spoke about that, I didn't have to do that anymore. That was it for me. Yeah, but before that, it was constantly reminding myself to allow him to do that and relinquish or whatever. And
it can be difficult, and sometimes it's not even necessarily that you don't want them to. It's just you're in such the pattern of doing it yourself and having to do it yourself that it's hard to relinquish it, not because you don't necessarily want them to do it or not that you don't trust them to do it. It's just, it's hard to let go of because you've been doing it for so long.
Yeah, it was ingrained in me. It was, it was behavior, it was lifestyle, it was patterns.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I want to take time just to offer questions. If anyone in the chat has questions that you all have for Eric and Carla, please just type it in the chat. I'm only going to hold them about 5 more minutes here. I'm going to honor our hour time, and I don't want to.
People, how y'all doing in the chat?
Thank you everyone for coming in. Nikki, I see you. Keep moving uncut. I see you. Welcome in, old school Patricia. I know she had to step out. Boss Life, good to see you all. Appreciate you all being here and stopping in. So yeah, if y'all have any questions for him, please just type it in the chat and I'll be happy to ask them. I'm only going to hold them, like I said, about 5 more minutes. At this point in your life, what would you all say has been the greatest lesson that you all have learned about marriage thus far?
You want to go?
Thank you, baby. I would say making sure that we put and honor God first in our lives, and in our covenant, like that is key and important, like really, honoring God, and for me as the wife, honoring my husband and making sure like that is conveyed, because I think the world really cries out to see loving relationships, especially Black, well, my husband says Aboriginal, sorry, baby, families and marriages, units, family units, no matter what our, blended family is working itself out to be, the world needs to be able to see that and see that that is something that is a requirement. It's ordained by God, and it is covenant. That's his requirement for us.
Now, you all recently, just this week, participated in something that you all hadn't done together before, and that was doing a 5-day fast. And you all did it with with some other couples. And I know that was something you all did for the first time. And I know that a fast can be challenging to do just for one day. And you all did it for 5 days, with each other. So talk to us a little bit about what came out of that for you all. How did that change your marriage or your relationship with God in your marriage?
For me, it drew me a little closer to God and my wife, because I got a chance to get food out of my way and give up some plates for some particular things and events. And giving that up, I had my clarity. It was a clear head, a sound mind, and I was able to see things and understand things that I never knew that, I didn't need to feed my body. I should have been feeding my spirit. That's more important than feeding my body. Mm-hmm. So that was a big thing that I drew from that, and gave me a great appreciation for life, the things that I need, being there for my wife and being with my wife, spending time with her and understanding like it's sacrifices that we will be giving up, plates for life and for people and for the ones we love.
Yeah. And obstacles will happen, like having a blended family, in-laws, like we spoke of, and friends. Those kind of things are obstacles, but they don't have to be barriers that are to the detriment of the relationship. And that's where we come together and we discuss or talk about, like, how do we modify this? I can see it being either problematic or an emerging issue, like how to establish this, and whether the other person sees it or not, because if he brings something to me and I don't see it yet, that doesn't mean that it's not an emerging issue. And so we try to just have that understanding and be able to convey and communicate to each other what we're seeing being problematic,
Absolutely.
And early on, like you said, like we're older, so we're not about the going through the button heads, and we have our disagreements, don't get me wrong. We certain things we'll have our moments and disagreements, but we're going to communicate it out. We're going to talk it out.
And it's good to know what you want,
mm-hmm.
find what you want, get what you want, and be on the same page. It's nothing like that. If I'm 20, if I'm 19, I don't know if I would be mentally ready for that, or even know. I didn't know myself as a man. I didn't know what I wanted when I was young. I know what I want. But with time and reading and rearing and getting into the word and understanding, that's a beautiful thing. I'm telling you.
Now, did you all pray together, during the time of your fast?
We had to.
Yeah.
You had to.
Ruth, we had to. It was a necessity.
And talk about how hungry we were.
Yes.
And getting back on track to talk about, let's pray, because we just talked about hunger. Let's not talk about food. That's talking about the food got us mentally off track. Like, do you smell that?
I saw the barrier lines you put over the kitchen door, like stay out.
Like off limits.
I smell every spice in every dish that was prepared.
Oh my goodness!
Arugula, the thyme,
right?
The smoked paprika.
And talking about our first meal, like, what do you think we should cook the first time we eat? Like, We were talking about that on Tuesday.
If I didn't pray, I couldn't get through a fast. If somebody out there say they can, give me a call because I want to. I had to pray. I can't get through a fast without praying.
Right, you have to pray.
I had to. I had to give it up. Because sometimes I want to walk away, and I say, "This, I don't know about this fast. Wait a minute now, this coconut water. I don't know. This coconut water for 5 days." But I had to pray, and it brought me back. It brought me back.
Yeah.
Got me together.
Because initially he was going to just do sun up to sundown.
Yeah.
And then I was going to do the water fast, but then he said he was getting on board. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, baby, you're so proud.
Challenge. You hear him challenge him? I'm up for a challenge. Let's go.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm glad I did.
I learned a lot because, like he was saying, he came from a home where 3 square meals was the thing.
Oh yeah,
You didn't have it like that. You know?
Breakfast,
Yeah, in the South. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I laughed at that when I heard you say that because I remember being a little girl, and my family were all from East Texas, and they would come down and we'd be making, make this big breakfast, biscuits and eggs and sausage and the whole nine, right, grits and the whole nine. This is breakfast. And so then while we were just get done eating breakfast and they were sitting planning, they would be talking about planning what we were going to have for lunch.
Yes.
And then later for dinner.
Right after that.
And I was like, just got done eating this huge breakfast.
Right after that.
My mother-in-law, we just ate. I'm full up to here, and she's like, "What you think we should make for?" Don't let us see this. If you see this, mom-in-law,
that was a daily thing. I mean, that was 24/7, And when I remember when we were kids, we would, go eat breakfast at one house, and then we'd go down to another house, and someone would have lunch prepared, and then when we got done later, we'd run down to so and so's house, and they had dinner. And so and it wasn't a thing. You didn't go to somebody's house and not sit down and eat a plate of food. I don't care what time you came. Like if you came in the middle of the day, they were gonna fix you up something real quick.
Yeah.
That was just what it was. So.
It's
I'm going to answer this last question and then I'm going to let you all go. It says, before you guys became a married couple, what was some of your strong points as a single person that has helped you to become stronger since you're married?
For me, some stronger points. It was,
is there any?
Yeah, it was, I had certain disciplines that I brought into it. I was, because it's certain things that I don't do that other people do, and I brought those disciplines into, there's certain disciplines I brought into, that when I was singing, I said, I transitioned this into, the marriage. Like I don't eat certain things, I don't do certain things, and for me, that was something that my disciplines that I brought into. Yeah,
that improved when you got married.
Yes,
that's good.
Yeah,
that's
I took it up to another level. I went further.
Yeah.
That's really good. I agree. Carla, was there anything for you that you brought, from your single that benefited your marriage and got stronger?
I think that being more of the communicator, a little bit more sophisticated, because now the some terms that I use, he uses them on me. So
definitely.
Yeah. So
it's called osmosis.
Yes, my husband does the same. Yes.
So as a clinician, if I did say, or even if it's something in general, and he, or whatever, and I'm like, okay, yeah, get regulated. That is the regulation skill set. But now when I do it, he right there at me like,
get regulated.
You ready for her, aren't you, Eric? Ready for it. It's like, I got one. I'm gonna use this one right here.
Right there. So, but just in the times that because he comes from a family where, to me, the communication level is not as like, I'm like, why don't you guys just tell each other this or that, or say, and they're not. But now I will say that the Lord has blessed me to be in their life to help with some of that. And a lot of the things that we fast and pray about are like bigger family issues, generational things, So
sometimes in the South, you might know we don't talk about family issues like that. We don't discuss those things. They are
Yeah.
pushed under the rug, and they just.
What happens in the family stays in the family.
Yeah.
What happens in the house stays in the house.
We'll talk about that stuff.
Right. And so for me, like I said, with the communication, and then just, love covers. And so I think that I brought that in, like, loving my husband and, covering him and being nurturing to him. And as he was that same way to me, especially during that loss. But for us, when the trouble and the storms do try to arise, we say we will not be destroyed, and we will pray. We will pray, and we will fast. Like I'll fast. I've never done the water, but the sun up to sundown, yes. But that's going to be a lifestyle for us now because we enjoyed it.
I never fasted for 5 days just drinking water. I've never done that before in my life. I have never done that. I've never done
that. I told my husband, I said, I really do believe we could do all things through Christ who strengthens. Like, it's no longer just
y'all found a new level of strength together.
Yes, it's no longer just a saying, it's a do. We actualized that. We actually did it.
Yeah.
That whole I would disbelieve some things, like people like, oh, I'm famished. Oh, I don't know. I'm famished. Hey, that's real.
Yes.
Day 3, I saw little people running through the living room. I'm like, hey, what's going on
with my food? That's my plate.
How we birds in the house? There's birds in the house.
Were you
fly in my living room?
Right.
I'm telling you, that's real.
Water.
Coconut water came through for me with a little bit of sprinkle of carrot juice. It came through for me. I said, oh, we're in the house. We all right. We all right. Yeah, pray it up. Right. God is here. He's a mighty king. He right here. Right. Whew. I'm back.
Well, guys, thank you so much. I'm not going to hold you all. I'm going to go ahead and pray us out. And then I will see you all Monday. We'll be back. I'll be back on Monday.
We really appreciate you for having us.
Appreciate you for hosting us.
Thank you so much for coming
on. And we can't say it enough. If there's somebody out there having obstacles, pray about it, because that is what we do when we do encounter obstacles. And fast and pray now.
Fast and pray now. Yes. Definitely. And we appreciate you for your time, Ruth. And we appreciate you for just hosting us and having us here. Thank you for the floor.
Oh, I appreciate it so much. I appreciate you all, truly. I'm going to say a quick prayer and then we'll head out, okay? Father, I thank you so much for this day. I thank you for this time that you have allowed us to share with Carla and Eric on the obstacles and things that they have overcome. Thank you for bless their marriage, cover their marriage, keep them, bless their families, and continue to allow them to be a light in their families.
Thank you.
Help them, strengthen them. Thank you for showing them the strength. Thank you for giving them another tool, another resource for them to be able to call on and lean on in the midst of when they're going through something, that you are there always knocking, waiting to be let in. And so thank you for helping them to realize that this week. Let this be a new level for them, Father, a new opportunity to do more for you and more in you. Father, we thank you. Bless the couples and everyone in the chat, those who'll be watching the replay. Thank you for tonight, and just continue to love on us and show us your grace and mercy the way you have. We love you. We thank you. These things I ask in your son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, everyone. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you all so much. You all have a wonderful night. You all have just been wonderful and gracious to interview. And so I appreciate you so much. Good night, everyone. I will see you all soon.
Thank you.
Hey, y'all keep each other first out there. God first, and keep your wife and your husband first, no matter what.